संसार दावानललीढलोका त्राणाय कारुण्याघनाघनत्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणानवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणं महाप्रभु कीर्तननित्यगीता वादितमाध्यं मनसो रसेन रोमाञ्चकं पाशिताङ्गभाज वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतान्माञ्जिरमार्जनादो युक्तस्य भक्तां संयुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो साधनतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्घान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजता सदैव वन्दे गुरो चरणारविन्दं श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं निकुञ्जयो न रतिकेलिसीधै यायालिभिर्योक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रा विलाक्षादितिवल्लभश्च वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यतैव साधि किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायं स्तुवांस्तस्य यस्य स्त्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्री Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadadayine Hiranyakasipurvakshaha Silatankanakalaye Ito nasimha parato nasimha Yato yato yami tato nasimha Bahi nasimha hridaye nasimha Narasimhamadim saranam prapade Tava kara kamalavare nakam Adbhuta shringam dalita Hiranyakasipu tanubhingam Kesavadhita narhari rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimhadev Jaya Narasimhadev Narasimhadev Jaya Narasimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadadayine Hiranyakasipurvakshaha Silatankanakalaye Ito nasimha parato nasimha Yato yato yami tato nasimha Bahir nasimha hridaye nasimha Narasimhamadim saranam prapade Tava kara kamalavare nakha Adbhuta shringam dalita Hiranyakasipu tanubhingam Kesavadhita narhari rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimhadev 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 Jaya Narasimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Vrindaye Tulsidevyaya Priyaye Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Devi Satyavate Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha Radha Krishna Seva Pabo Abhilasi Tumara saranaloy Tara vancha purna ho Kripa kori koro Hare Vrindavasi Murae Abhilas Vilas Kunje Diyovas Nayane Heri Go Sada Yugala Parasi Hey Vedana Dharo Sakiranu Gata Karo Kripa Kori Koro Hare Vrindavasi Morai Abhilas Vilas Kunje Diyovas Nayane Heri Gosara Yugala Parasi Dinaki
Hey Nivedana
Hey
Dharo.
Nivedana Dharo Sakiranu Gata Karo
Seva
Sevadikar Diye Karo Nijadasi Krishna Dase Kore Namura Hoy Sri Radha Govinda Pini Sabhirena Bhasi Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahmatyadi Kani Cha Tani Tani Pranasanti Padachina Pade Pade Vrindaye Tulsi Devyaye Priyaye Kesha Sacha Krishna Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavati Namah Vrindaye Tulsi Maharani Yes, Jivan is not
मैं जो रीड करना है भक्ति चारू महाराज का या बाद में? हाँ नाउ ठीक
Chapter 19 Devotional Service and Pure Love of God. Chapter 20 Transcendental Mellow. Next, Qualities of Sri Krishna 21. 21. Chapter 21 Qualities of Sri Krishna. Should I read Maharaj? Devotional Service and Pure Love of God, Chapter 19. Reading. When one's desire to love Krishna in one's particular relationship becomes intensified, this is known as pure love of Godhead. In the beginning, a devotee is engaged in regulative principles of devotional service by the order of his spiritual master. When one thereby becomes completely purified of all material contamination, there develop an attachment and taste for devotional service. This taste and attachment, when gradually intensified in the course of time, become love. The word love can be actually applied only in relationship with the personality of Godhead. In the material world, love is not applicable at all. What goes on under the name of love in the material world is nothing but lust. There is a gulf of difference between love and lust, like the difference between gold and iron. In the Narad Pancharatra, it is clearly stated that when lust is completely transferred to the Supreme Godhead and the concept of kinship is completely reposed in Him, such is accepted as pure love of God by great authorities like Bhishma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narada. Great authorities like Bhishma have explained that love of Godhead means completely giving up all so-called love for any other person. According to Bhishma, love means reposing one's affection completely upon one person, withdrawing all affinities for any other person. This pure love can be transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead under two conditions: out of ecstasy and out of the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Ecstasy. Ecstatic love of Godhead can be potently invoked simply by following the rules and regulations of devotional service as they are prescribed in the scriptures under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In the 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 40 of Srimad Bhagavatam, this ecstatic love, born of the execution of regulative devotional service, is explained. A devotee, in the course of executing the regulative principles of devotional service, develops his natural Krishna consciousness, and being thus softened at heart, he chants and dances like a madman. While performing chanting of the holy name of the Lord, he sometimes cries, sometimes talks widely, sometimes sings, and sometimes, without caring for any outsider, dances like a madman. In the Padma Puran, there is a statement about ecstatic love born of spontaneous affection. Chandrakanti, a celebrated fair-faced girl, rigidly observed celibacy in order to obtain Krishna as her husband. She always engaged herself in meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord and always chanted the glories of the Lord. She did not desire to accept anyone else as her husband. She had firmly decided that only Lord Krishna would be her husband. The Lord's extraordinary mercy. When a devotee is found to be always associated with the Lord in ecstatic love, it is to be understood that such a position has been awarded by the Lord Himself out of His causeless extraordinary mercy. An example of such extraordinary mercy is given in 11th canto, 12th chapter, verse 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Lord Krishna tells Uddhava, the gopis in Vrindavan did not study the Vedas to achieve me, nor had they ever been in holy places of pilgrimage, nor did they devoutly execute any regulative principle, nor did they undergo any kind of austerity. It is simply my association that they have attained the highest perfection of devotional service. From the example of Chandrakanti as found in the Padma Puran and from the example of the gopis as found in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it appears that a devotee who always thinks of Krishna and who always chants his glories in ecstatic love, regardless of his condition, will attain the highest perfection of unalloyed devotional love due to Krishna's extraordinary mercy. This is confirmed in Bhagavatam. If a person worships, adores, and loves Hari, the Supreme Lord, he should be understood to have finished all kind of austerities, penances, and similar processes of self-realization. On the other hand, if after undergoing all type of austerities, penances, and mystic yoga practices, one does not develop such love for Hari, then all his performances are to be considered a useless waste of time. If someone always sees Krishna inside and out, then it is to be understood that he has surpassed all austerities and penances for self-realization. And if, after executing all kinds of penances and austerities, one cannot always see Krishna inside and out, then he has executed his performances uselessly. Spontaneous attraction to Krishna, which is said to be due to the extraordinary mercy of the Lord, can be placed under two headings. One is profound veneration for the greatness of the Lord, and another is one's being automatically attracted to Krishna without any extraneous consideration. In the Naraj Pancharat, it is said that if on account of profound veneration for the greatness of the Supreme Lord, one attains a great affection and steady love for him, one is certainly assured of attaining the four kinds of Vaishnava liberation, namely achieving the same bodily feature as the Lord, achieving the same opulence as the Lord, dwelling on the planet where the Lord is residing, and attaining eternal association with the Lord. The Vaishnava liberation is completely different from the Mayavad liberation, which is simply a matter of being merged into the effulgence of the Lord. In Narad Pancharatra, pure, unalloyed devotional service is explained as being without any motive for personal benefit. If a devotee is continuously in love with Lord Krishna and his mind is always fixed upon him, that devotional attitude will prove to be the only means of attracting the attention of the Lord. In other words, a Vaishnava who is incessantly thinking of the form of Lord Krishna is to be known as a pure Vaishnava. Generally, a devotee who has achieved the causeless mercy of the Lord on account of following the strict rules and regulation of devotional service become attracted by the supreme greatness of the Lord, by the transcendental beauty of the Lord, and by the spontaneous execution of devotional service. To be more clear, by executing the regulative principles of devotional service, one can fully appreciate the transcendental beauty of the Lord. In any case, such exalted positions are possible only by the extraordinary mercy of the Lord upon the devotee. Association with pure devotee. Although many different processes for developing love of Godhead have been explained so far, Srila Rupa Goswami now gives us a general description of how one can best achieve such a high position. The beginning of ecstatic love of Godhead is basically faith. There are many societies and associations of pure devotees, and if someone with just a little faith begins to associate with such societies, his advancement to pure devotional service is rapid. The influence of a pure devotee is such that if someone comes to associate with him with a little faith, one gets the chance of hearing about the Lord from authoritative scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus, by the mercy of the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, one gradually develops his faith in the descriptions of such authoritative scriptures. This is the first stage of association with pure devotees. In the second stage, after one becomes a little advanced and mature, he automatically offers to follow the principles of devotional service.
Last four lines again. Last four lines.
There are many societies and associations of pure devotees. If someone with just a little faith begins to associate with such societies, his advancement to pure devotional service is rapid. The influence of a pure devotee is such that if someone comes to associate with him with a little faith, one gets the chance of hearing about the Lord from the authoritative scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus, by the mercy of the Lord who is situated in everyone's heart, one gradually develops his stage of association with pure devotees. In the second stage, after one becomes a little advanced and mature, he automatically offers to follow the principles of devotional service under the guidance of the pure devotees and accept him as the spiritual master. In the next stage, under the guidance of the spiritual master, the devotee executes regulative devotional service. and as a result of such activities he becomes freed from all unwanted occupations. When he is freed from unwanted occupations, his faith becomes steadily fixed and he develops a transcendental taste for devotional service, then attachment, then ecstasies, and in the last stage there is pure love of God. These are the different stages of development of pure love. Only the most fortunate person can achieve such success in life. Those who are simply academic students of the Vedic scriptures cannot appreciate how such a development takes place. In the Narad Pancharatra, Lord Shiva therefore tells Parvati, "My dear Supreme Goddess, you may know from me that any person who has developed the ecstasy of love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who is always merged in transcendental bliss on account of this love cannot even perceive the material distress or happiness coming from the body or mind. The affection and the dealings of love that are different branches of the original tree of love precede many varieties of affectionate manifestations that will not be discussed here. These different manifestations have been described by Sanatana Goswami in Bhagavatamrita. Although the subject of such affections and dealings of love is very confidential, Sanatana Goswami has described them very explicitly. Srila Rupa Goswami thus concludes the first division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, offering up his treatise for the transcendental pleasure of Sanatana Goswami, who has established the transcendental beauty, and of Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. It appears from this statement that the great Srila Jeev Goswami was not yet active when Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta summary study of the first division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu up to the description of ecstatic love of Godhead, which are to follow next. Chapter 20, Part 2, Transcendental Mellow. In the second division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the author offers his respectful obeisances unto Sanatana. This Sanatan can be interpreted as either Sri Krishna himself or as Sanatan Goswami, the elder brother and spiritual master of Rupa Goswami. In the case where Sanatan is accepted to mean Sri Krishna, the obeisances are offered to Krishna because he is naturally so beautiful and because he is the killer of the demon Agha. If it is interpreted to mean Sanatana Goswami, then it is because he is so greatly favored by Rupa Goswami, being always served by him, and because he is the annihilator of all kinds of sinful activities. In this division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the author wants to describe the general symptoms of transcendental mellow of discharging devotional service. In this division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are 5 general topics: Vaibhav, special symptoms or causes of ecstasy. Second, Anubhav, Vibhav, Anubhav, subsequent ecstasy. Satvika Bhav, constitutional or existential ecstasy. Vyabhichari Bhav, aggressive ecstasy. And fifth, Sthai Bhav, fervent or continuous ecstasy. The word rasa used in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is understood by different persons differently because the exact English equivalent is very difficult to find. But as we have seen, our spiritual master translates this word rasa into mellow. Such we shall follow in his footsteps and also translate the word in that way. The particular loving mood or attitude relished in the exchange of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called rasa or mellow. The different types of rasa, when combined together, help one to taste the mellow of devotional service in the highest degree of transcendental ecstasy. Such a position, although entirely transcendental to our experience, will be explained in this section as compelling. In other words, there are two kinds of ecstatic love. The object of basic ecstatic love is Krishna and his devotee. Lord Krishna is the object of basic ecstatic love, and his pure devotee, a reservoir of such love, is the object of impelling ecstatic love. Impelling ecstatic love, then, is that love which develops when one sees an object which reminds him of Krishna. Lord Krishna, who is the possessor of inconceivable potencies and qualities of transcendental knowledge and bliss, is the basic cause of ecstatic love. Lord Krishna also becomes the reservoir of ecstatic love by his different incarnations and expansions. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a statement in connection with the Brahma Vimohan Leela which demonstrates something of this impelling or impetus giving feature of ecstatic love. When Brahma was deluded by Krishna, who expanded himself into so many cowherd boys, calves, and cows, Krishna's elder brother Sri Baladev, a direct expansion of Krishna himself, felt astonishment and said, "How wonderful it is that my ecstatic love for Krishna is again being attracted to so many cowherd boys, calves, and cows." He was struck with wonder by thinking in this way. This is one of the examples in which Krishna himself becomes the object and reservoir of ecstatic love in the impelling aspect. Chapter 21, Qualities of Sri Krishna. Personal features can be divided into two. One feature is covered and another feature is manifested. When Krishna is covered by different kinds of dress, his personal feature is covered. There is an example of his covered personal feature in Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with Dwarka Leela, his residence in Dwarka as its king. Sometime Lord Krishna began to play by dressing himself like a woman. Seeing this form, Uddhava said, "How wonderful it is that this woman is attracting my ecstatic love exactly as Lord Krishna does. I think she must be Krishna, covered by the dress of a woman." One devotee praised the bodily feature of Krishna when he saw the Lord in his manifested personal feature. He exclaimed, "How wonderful is the personal feature of Lord Krishna! How his neck is just like a conch shell. His eyes are so beautiful as though they themselves were encountering the beauty of a lotus flower. His body is just like a tamal tree, very blackish. His head is protected with a canopy of hair. There are the marks of Shivats on his chest, and he is holding his counsel. By such beautiful bodily feature, the enemy of the demon Madhu has appeared, so pleasing that he can bestow upon me transcendental bliss simply by my seeing his transcendental qualities." Srila Rupa Goswami, after consulting various scriptures, has enumerated the transcendental qualities of the Lord as follows. First, bodily feature of the entire body. Second, marked with all auspicious characteristics. Third, extremely pleasing. Fourth, effulgent. Fifth, strong. Sixth, ever youthful. Seventh, wonderful linguist. Eighth, truthful. Ninth, talks pleasingly. 10, fluent. 11, highly learned. 12, highly intelligent. 13, a genius. 14, artist. 15, extremely clever. 16, expert. 17, grateful. 18, firmly determined. 19, an expert judge of time and circumstances. 20, sees and speaks on the authority of Vedas or scriptures. 21, pure. 22, self-controlled. 23, steadfast. 24, forbearing. 25, forgiving. 26, grave. 27, self-satisfied. 28, possessing equilibrium. 29, magnanimous. 30, religious. 31, heroic. 32, compassionate. 33, respectful. 34, gentle. 35, liberal. 36, shy. 37, the protector of the surrendered souls. 38, happy. 39, the well-wisher of devotees. 40, controlled by love. 41 all auspicious, 42 most powerful, 43 all famous, 44 popular, 45 partial to devotees, 46 very attractive to all women, 47 all worshipable, 48 all opulent, 49 all honorable, 50 the supreme controller. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has all these 50 transcendental qualities in fullness as deep as the ocean. In other words, the extent of his qualities is inconceivable. As parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the individual living entities can also possess all of these qualities in minute quantities, provided they become pure devotee of the Lord. In other words, all of the above transcendental qualities can be present in the devotees in minute quantity, whereas the quantities in fullness are always present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Besides this, there are another transcendental qualities which are described by Lord Shiva to Parvati in the Padma Puran and in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with a conversation between the deity of the earth and the king of religion Yamuna. It is therein person who persons who are desirous of becoming great personalities must be decorated with the following qualities: truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, perseverance, renunciation, peacefulness, simplicity, control of the senses, equilibrium of the mind, austerity, equality, forbearance, placidity, learning, knowledge, detachment, opulence, chivalry, influence, strength, memory, independence, tactfulness, lustre, patience, kind-heartedness, ingenuity, gentility, mannerliness, determination, perfection in all knowledge, proper execution, possession of all object of enjoyment, gravity, steadiness, faithfulness, fame, respectfulness, and lack of false egotism. Persons who are desiring to become great souls cannot be without any of the above qualities. So we can know for certain that these qualities are found in Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Besides all of the above mentioned 50 qualities, Lord Krishna possesses 5 more, which are sometimes partially manifested in the persons of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. These transcendental qualities are as follows: 51 changeless, 52 all cognizant, 53 ever fresh, 54 Satchidanand, 55 possessing all mystic perfections. Krishna also possesses 5 other qualities which are manifest in the body of Narayana, and they are listed as follows: 56 he has inconceivable potency, 57 uncountable universes generate from his body, 58 he is original source of all incarnation, 59 he is the giver of salvation to the enemies whom he kills, 60 he is the attractor of liberated souls. All these transcendental qualities are manifest wonderfully in the personal feature of Lord Krishna. Besides these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has 4 more, which are not manifest even in the Narayana form of Godhead. What to speak of the demigods or living entities? They are as follows: 61. He is the performer of wonderful varieties of pastimes, especially his childhood pastimes. He is surrounded, 62. He is surrounded by devotees endowed with wonderful love of God. 63. He can attract all living entities all over the universe by playing on his flute. 64. He has a wonderful excellence of beauty which cannot be revealed anywhere in the creation. Adding to this list these 4 exceptional qualities of Krishna, it is to be understood that the aggregate number of qualities of Krishna is 64. Srila Rupa Goswami has attempted to give evidences from scriptures about all 64 qualities present in the person of the Supreme Lord. First, beautiful bodily features. Any comparison of the different part of Lord's body to different material objects cannot fully be complete factually be a complete comparison. Ordinary person who cannot understand how exalted are the bodily features of the Lord are simply given a chance to understand by a material comparison. It is said that Krishna's face is as beautiful as the moon. His thighs are powerful just like the trunks of elephants. His arms are just like two pillars. His palms are expanded like lotus flowers. His chest is just like a doorway. His hips are dense, and the middle of his body is a terrace. Auspicious characteristics. Second, there are certain characteristics of different limbs which are considered to be very auspicious and fully present in the body of the Lord. In this connection, one friend of Nand Maharaj, speaking about Lord Krishna's auspicious bodily symptoms, said, "My dear king of the cowherds, I can find 32 auspicious symptoms on the body of your son. I am wondering how this boy could have taken his birth in a family of the cowherd men." Generally, when Lord Krishna appears, he does so in a family of Kshatriyas, as did Lord Ramchand, and sometimes in a family of Brahmanas. But Krishna accepted the role of son to Maharaj Nand despite the fact that Nand belonged to the Vaisya community. The business of the Vaisya community is trade, commerce, and the protection of cows. Therefore, his friends who may have been born into a Brahmana family expressed his wonder as how such an exalted child could take birth in a family of Vaisyas. Anyway, he pointed out the auspicious signs on the body of Krishna to the boy's foster father. He continued, "This boy had a reddish luster in 7 places: his eyes, the end of his hands, the end of his legs, his palate, his hips, his tongue, and his nails. A reddish luster is there in these 7 places is considered to be auspicious. There, 3 parts of his body are very broad: his waist, forehead, and chest. These parts of his body are short: his neck, thighs, and genitals. 3 parts of his body are very deep: his voice, intelligence, and navel. There is highness in 5 parts of his body: his nose, arms, ears, forehead, and thighs. In 5 parts of his body there is fineness: his skin, the hairs on his head, and on the other parts of his body, his teeth, and his fingerprints. The aggregate of all these bodily features is manifest only in the bodies of great personalities. The fat lines on the palm are also considered to be auspicious bodily symptoms. In this connection, one old gopi informed King Nanda, "Your son possesses all various wonderful fat lines on his palms. There are the signs of lotus flower and wheels on his palms, and on his soles there are the signs of a flag, a thunderbolt, a fish, a rod for controlling elephant, and a lotus flower. Please observe how auspicious these signs are." Third, pleasing. Beautiful bodily features which automatically attract the eyes are called ruchira, pleasing. Krishna possesses his attractive feature of ruchira in his personal features. In the third canto, second chapter, verse 13 of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a statement about this. The Supreme Person Godhead, in his pleasing dress, appeared at the scene of the sacrificial arena when King Yudhishthira was performing the Rajasuya sacrifice. All important personalities from different parts of the universe had been invited to the sacrificial arena, and all of them, upon beholding Krishna there, considered that the Creator had ended all of his craftsmanship in the creation of this particular body of Krishna. It is said that the transcendental body of Krishna resembles the lotus flower in 8 parts, namely his face, his 2 eyes, his 2 hands, his navel, and his 2 feet. The gopis and inhabitants of Vrindavan used to see the luster of lotus flowers everywhere. and they could hardly withdraw their eyes from such a vision. Effulgence. The effulgence pervading the universe is considered to be the rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The supreme abode of Krishna is always throwing off the effulgence known as Brahma Jyoti, and that effulgence is emanating from his body. The luster of the host of jewels fixed on the chest of Lord can defeat even the luster of the sun, and still, when compared with the bodily luster of Lord, that crest of jewels appears to be only as bright as one of the stars in the sky. Therefore, the transcendental influence of Krishna is so great that it can defeat anyone. When Krishna was present in the sacrificial arena of his enemy in Kamsa, the restless present, although appreciating the softness of the body of Sri Krishna, were afraid and perturbed when they thought of engaging with him in battle. Strong. A person who has extraordinary bodily strength is called Baliyan. When Krishna killed Ajtasur, some of the gopis said, "My dear Krishna friends, just see how Krishna has killed Ajtasur. Although he was stronger than a mountain, Krishna plucked him just like a piece of cotton and threw him away without any difficulty." There is another passage wherein it is said, "O my dear devotees of Lord Krishna, may the left hand of Lord Krishna, which has lifted Govardhan hill like a ball, save you from all dangers." Ever youthful. Krishna is beautiful at his different ages, namely his childhood, his boyhood, and his youth. Out of these three, his youth is the reservoir of all pleasures, and is the time when the highest varieties of devotional service are acceptable. At that age, Krishna is filled with all transcendental qualities and engaged in his transcendental pastimes. Therefore, devotees have accepted the beginning of his youth as the most ecstatic feature in ecstatic love. In this age, Krishna is described as follows. The force of Krishna's youth was combined with his beautiful smile, which defeated even the beauty of the full moon. He was always nicely dressed, in beauty surpassing even Cupid, and he was always attracting the minds of the gopis, who were thereby always feeling pleasure. 7. Wonderful Linguist. Rupa Goswami says that a person who knows the languages of different countries, especially the Sanskrit language which is spoken in the cities of the demigods, as well as other worldly languages, including those of the animals, is called a wonderful linguist. It appears from this statement that Krishna can also speak and understand the languages of the animals. An old woman in Vrindavan present at the time of Krishna's pastime once stated in surprise, "How wonderful it is that Krishna, who owns the heart of all the young girls of Vrajabhumi, can nicely speak the language of Vrajabhumi with the gopis, while in Sanskrit he speaks with the demigods, and in the language of animals he can speak with the cows and buffalo. Similarly, in the language of the Kashmir province, and with the parrots and other birds, as well as in the most common languages, Krishna is so expressive." She inquired from the gopis as to how Krishna has become so expert in speaking so many different types of languages. Truthful. 8. A person whose word of honor is never broken is called truthful. Krishna once promised Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, that he could bring her 5 sons back from the battlefield of Kurukshetra. After the battle was finished, when all the Pandavas had come home, Kunti praised Krishna because his promise was so nicely fulfilled. She said, "Even the sunshine may one day become cool and the moonshine one day become hot, but still your promise will not fail." Similarly, when Krishna along with Bhima and Arjuna went to challenge Jarasandha, he plainly told Jarasandha that he was the eternal Krishna, present along with 2 of the Pandavas. The story of both the Krishna and the Pandavas. In this case, Bhishma and Arjuna were Satriyas. Jarasandha was also Satriya and was very charitable toward the Brahmanas. Thus, Krishna, who
Yeah.
had fled, thus Krishna who has planned to fight with Jarasandha went to him with Bhima and Arjuna in the dress of Brahmanas. Jarasandha, being very charitable toward the Brahmanas, asked them what they wanted, and they expressed their desire to fight with him. Then Krishna, dressed as a Brahmana, declared himself to be the same Krishna who was the king's eternal enemy. Pleasing talker. A person who can speak sweetly even with his enemy just to pacify him is called a pleasing talker. Krishna was such a pleasing talker that after defeating his enemy Kaliya in the water of the Yamuna, he said, "My dear king of the snakes, although I have given you so much pain, please do not be dissatisfied with me. It is my duty to protect these cows, which are worshipped even by the demigods. Only in order to save them from the danger of your presence have I been obliged to banish you from this place." Kaliya was residing within the water of the Yamuna, and as a result, the back portion of that river had become poisoned. Thus, so many cows who had drunk the water had died. Therefore, Krishna, even though he was only 4 or 5 years old, dipped himself into the water, punished Kaliya very severely, and then asked him to leave the place and go elsewhere. Krishna said at that time that the cows are worshipped even by the demigods, and he practically demonstrated how to protect the cows. At least people who are in Krishna consciousness should follow in his footsteps and give all protection to the cows. Cows are worshipped not only by the demigod. Krishna himself worshipped the cows on several occasions, especially on the days of Gopashtami and Govardhan Puja. Fluent. A person who can speak meaningful words and with all politeness.
ठीक है पीछे आ गया आरती करेंगे इधर हो गया वैसे तो ठीक है Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
चरणा पद्मा केवल भगति सद्मा बंदो मुई सावधाना मते जहाँ प्रसादे भाई ये भाव तरियाया कृष्ण प्राप्ति है यहाँ हईते गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्य चित्ते करिया नित्य अरना करिहा मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तमा गति ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय यहाँ चरिता वेद गाए यहाँ चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पावाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोर पद छाया हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हृदयस घुसुत्री भुवना एबेयसा घुसुक्ति भुवाना शिला गुरुदेव लैलो शरणा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे जय गिरिराज बाबा की जय कृष्ण बलराम जगन्नाथ की जय सुभद्रा प्रहलाद नरसिंह श्री कृष्ण बलराम श्री दामोदर नंद निताय को सुंदर ओम उग्रं विग्रं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् ओम उग्रं विग्रं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम् जय नरसिंह जय नरसिंह जय 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 श्री नरसिंह हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे